Oh, hello. I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and welcome to the rise of the Third Reich. It all began with Lord Voldemort. Sorry, wrong story. It all started in a Bavarian prison, where a young German officer by the name of Adolf Hitler, his memoir, Mein Kampf, was detailing a perfect society and how it should be run. Germany is left in shambles after its fight with the world in the Great War. The Germans attempt to solve their economic plight by endlessly printing money, which destroyed their economy and made the German mark worthless. People are broken and desperate. They'll do anything to obtain their own life. Their answer came in the form of a new leader, Adolf Hitler. He increased military spending and instilled a sense of national pride. On the 27th of February, 1933, the Nazis finally established themselves as the dominant party, with a burning of Reichstag. This was blamed on the Communist Party, which eliminated the Nazis' biggest threat. In 1934, Hitler declared himself Führer and immediately began exercising his power. Even before the Nazi Party claimed leadership, they still had immense power. They used this power to open the first of many industrial killing centers. The Nazi Party began to reinvigorate the German economy with Reconstruction. Hitler declared that a woman's work was her family, her husband, her children, and her home. He also enacted the Nuremberg Laws. These banned relationships between Aryans and Jews. In 1936, he made it compulsory for all young boys to join the Hitler Youth, which was his own personal Boy Scouts. In 1938, Kristallnacht shook the Jewish population to its core. This was the night of broken glass, where Jewish shops and synagogues were destroyed. This was the first of many acts that directly targeted the well-being of the Jewish people. Later that year, Hitler forcefully closed all Jewish-owned businesses. On August 27, 1939, Hitler introduced food rationing. This showed that Germany was a nation ready for war. In September of 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. This began the time known as World War II. His trusty generals, Heinrich Himmler, developed the SS and Gestapo, and oversaw the implementation of the concentration camps. Hermann Göring, who was second in power and led the best air force at the time. Joseph Goebbels was the administrator of propaganda and Hitler's successor. And finally, Rommel. He was the desert fox who believed in reconstructing Germany and not abusing its power. With Germany's blitzkrieg tactics, they overwhelmed Denmark, Belgium, France, and Norway. Back at home, Hitler dominated culture. The only arts and music that were allowed were those he approved. The others were just on display only to be ridiculed. The only music to be played was by Richard Wagner, whose pieces took an active part in propaganda. In 1941, the Nazis introduced Einsatzgruppen. These were mobile groups of Nazi Party members set out to kill Jews. January of 1942 was the beginning of mass deportation of Jews to concentration camps, where they were soon gassed. The first Allied bombing raids of March 1943 marked the beginning of the decline of the Nazi war machine. On July 20, 1944, an attempt on the Führer's life fails. This event shows that not all of Germany was pleased with Hitler's reign. The Battle of Stalingrad and D-Day culminated into the Germans' last stand, the Battle of Berlin. As Berlin's three rings of defense fell, and rumors of Russian revenge, it broke the German people. In the end, their Führer deserted them. In conclusion, the state thrived on the people. Influenced by Adolf Hitler's leadership, the party was driven to hate a race. His stirring speeches and public displays of power awed the Aryan people. Driving off the defeat of World War I, Hitler rallied the people into believing in themselves. This surging mass of acclamation drove the public to support the government's every move. Fanatically, people lived and even religiously obeyed their state's every command. They were blinded by their devotion to the atrocities of their Germany. They heard their government's call to work, saw their government's stupendous potential, and felt the life of a united force thrumming through their veins. They were an empowered race, charging to take back what they lost in the war, their honor, dignity, and power. However, they didn't see the seeds of destruction unearthing their empire. In the height of pure elation, they didn't know what they did. They heard the cries of their Jewish brothers and didn't listen, saw the horrors of war but didn't comprehend, felt their empire slip to dangerous leaders, yet remained numb by their joy. Hitler resuscitated powerful Germany, but choked as he took over it. Those who realized their plight were silently disposed of by his dark beliefs. As Hitler's dreams fell to the ground, he tangled his nation in deceit, shame, and slavery. He kept pushing his people to the edge until they finally fell from the clouds surrounding them. In this time of turmoil in the wake of World War I, countries found hope in their leaders. It was in this time that leaders such as Winston Churchill and Benito Mussolini skillfully united their public. However, it was the energizing philosophies of one Adolf Hitler that swept an entire nation of citizens to his ideals and united a broken people to his cause. History will always see the Holocaust towering over Nazi Germany, but its effects on the world ceases to stop. The people of today are united by powerful speakers that overthrow their broken societies and make new ones. Major powers of today's globe know the power that their citizens hold, as they saw in Germany, and are cautious of how its power can be used for devastating results. History will remember Nazi Germany as a reminder of the government to the power of the people, but it will also serve as a beacon of hope to the most broken and the most rejected countries that need life to run through their veins again.